Coming up next on Community Connections, we meet with people from our Division of Academics to learn more about college and career readiness here in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Welcome to Community Connections. I'm Shannon Pugh, the Director of Community and School-Based Programming. Today, we are joined by members of our Curriculum and Instruction Office to learn more about college and career readiness and career coaching as part of our Blueprint for Maryland's Future. We are joined today by Mr. Kevin Wajek, the Director of Instruction, and Ms. Valicia Beaty, our Manager of Career Advising. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having us.
Great. We're so happy that you're here. So what I first want to do is let you introduce yourselves to the audience. So will you tell us just a little bit about yourself and your journey here in Anne Arundel County? So we're going to start with Mr. Wajek.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Wajek, Director of Instruction for Academics. Very excited to be in my 21st year with Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Classroom teacher, assistant principal, evening high school administrator, general doer of things, and then most recently coordinator of high school mathematics. And now I have the wonderful opportunity to supervise a variety of our core content programs and oversee curriculum and instructions implementation of the Pillar 3, Blueprint for Maryland's Future, which includes career coaching. And I am so excited to have Ms. Beaty join our team this year as we kick off this great initiative and continue to dig into the blueprint, really standing at the forefront of our next 10 years in AACPS education for students.
Great. So that was a big kickoff, a great kickoff to you, Ms. Beaty. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey here?
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for the nice introduction. My name is Valicia Beaty. I am in year 21 of education. Prior to this, I was an assistant principal and a special educator. I have been here with Anne Arundel Public Schools now since December. So it has been a great start to the 2024 year for me, and I'm so excited to be a part of this as we dive into Pillar 3 under the blueprint and working alongside of Kevin and the workforce development team to get this initiative up and going.
Awesome. So we're going to hear more about this initiative in just a minute, but I want to start with you, Mr. Wajek. Just for anyone watching, what is college and career readiness under blueprint? It sounds like it's primarily focused on high school. Is this correct?
Yeah, I think that's a great question and is sort of a misnomer, right? We talk about college and career readiness and we think, oh, that must be for high school students. But the blueprint really outlines a long-term plan for all learners in our public school education about readiness. What we know is if you just start thinking about career, college, and your education in ninth grade, you've really missed out on lots of opportunities over time to develop yourself, to think about your interests and how that aligns with the world of work. Blueprint CCR is really about purpose, right? It's about teaching students reading, writing, literacy, mathematics, science, social studies, music, art, all of the things that make us productive members of society, well-learned citizens, really monitoring from a school system perspective how students are learning and staying on that pathway of success over the course of their elementary, and really even now we know with 3-year-old and 4-year-old pre-K, even before what we would have considered to be elementary school, our youngest learners get that foundation, right? They really build themselves that strong sense of what it means to be a learner and to be part of a school community. We progress all the way through into our middle school and our high school where we start to learn about ourselves and we start to see the world a little more broadly. Often, when we're young, we know what we know, right? We know what's within 3 or 4 miles of our experience. The Blueprint's goal is really to continue to expand students' worldviews, looking at careers early in a student's trajectory, understanding what career skills look like, and ultimately letting students have, once they've built that solid foundation, access to resources to make their plan for learning. I think one of the greatest things from Blueprint, in my perspective around college and career readiness, is that understanding early that if we meet with that academic success, if we're planning well for our future, that the school system is going to be here to support us and push us even farther. And I know later we're going to talk about what those pathways might look like for students that really open up in the high school world. But all of that is built on a rich foundation of both academic learning and exposure to the world throughout that elementary and early secondary experience.
So thank you for that. So you covered a lot there. You covered the different grades, also covered that this is a lot more than just reading and math, which of course is the foundation in many ways. Do you want to talk a little bit about how other courses besides just those foundational reading and math from our, as you mentioned, our 3-year-olds really up to age 21 for some of our students. So what all goes into it besides just reading and math of helping our students?
So with this, we want to encompass every area. So it's our arts, it's health, it's social studies, it's our sciences, it's everything. Because students and kids have interest in everything. Their passion can be anything. And so under this gives us the opportunity for us to dig in with kids, to think and dream and think outside of the box of what those passions could be and what those passions can now turn into some type of career or something that could be great for them. So this does give us the opportunity to start early with that with students, to just kind of get in there and have them start thinking of the why. They're always asking, why do I need this? Why do I need to learn this? This is your why. This is why you might need this math or this science again, because you never thought of this career that could use that or utilize that. And we're also preparing kids for jobs that aren't even thought of yet. And so this is a great opportunity for us to kind of get them to think outside of that box again and think about what those opportunities could be for them.
Yeah, I think Valicia really highlights the high-end goals of this. What it also does for a school system is purposely put support structures in place for students early on, right? We want to make sure that students are on that continuum of success and that schools are provided both time and resources to work with students that need additional support early in their learning, so that we are not putting any student in a place where they're not ready to experience that passion and that opportunity for what comes next. And so I really appreciate AACPS's goals in terms of our commitment to that monitoring of success and really relying on what we see and experience through our interactions, our classroom teacher interactions with students, beyond some of, maybe the traditional metrics that we are looking at. And it is an evolving process, right? We are young in our blueprint implementation. So it's exciting to really think about how, when we have really strong foundations of early literacy and mathematics, how students can grow and how far that can take us.
So I definitely want to talk a little bit more about this early intervention that you mentioned, but let's wind up or go back just a tiny bit. So what exactly is college and career readiness? Is there just one definition of college and career readiness, or what does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So Blueprint really talks about two things in terms of college and career readiness. The first is really this pathway readiness. Being ready by the end of 10th grade is where the Blueprint really sets this readiness to begin an exploration of more in-depth career. And that could come in a lot of ways for students as they prepare for their post-school experience. It may come through things like AP courses, IB diploma program courses, things that for students who have decided my career is going to require more school. I'm going to be required, if I want to pursue X career, to go and start some extra schooling, probably right after high school or at least sometime after high school. So that AP and IB experience, along with things like dual credit opportunities and partnerships with Anne Arundel Community College, will allow students who are choosing a pathway that requires that additional schooling to get started early and to really see purpose and goal. As a personal experience, it was sort of like, okay, in high school, I'm going to think about a career, but I'm really just I'm going to take these AP classes. And I ended up being very fortunate to have a lot of elective credit in college, but things that didn't really relate to what I wanted to do. And so I could see that Kevin Wajek of today would have had a better understanding of the pathway that I could have taken advantage of in school that could have helped jumpstart my career later in life. And even more overarchingly, an expansion and an awareness of program for students who may be really ready to enter the world of work productively after high school. We have lived in a society for a long time that sort of put college on a separate and apart pedestal. The Blueprint really says your learning in your life is about preparing for career and preparing for a life beyond school. And it's excited to see an opportunity where students may expand into areas which I really think is the second part of what Blueprint says. So we talk about first the skills necessary, but the opportunities to say, I may be seeking out certifications and value added opportunity within my secondary schooling that launches me into career. And an example I might provide is I am really interested in being a small business owner. And I also am really interested in plumbing. And so I may work in high school to get my plumbing certification while also taking some early business classes at the college and sort of mixing together the two things that I'm passionate and interested about. And what's great about Blueprint is once a student meets their college and career ready standard set by the state, Anne Arundel County will help afford some of those opportunities for them. We'll help pay for their AP tests and some of the other things, their certifications, things that may not have seemed as accessible become very accessible. I like to say the world opens once we become college and career ready for our students. And really the idea of graduating career ready and using, again, our state is in the midst of figuring out all of the things that Blueprint will be. I expect there will be changes over the next few years. But how am I preparing to be college and career ready by the end of 10th grade, using those metrics set forth, shared by our school counselors, our teachers, our administrators, and really just staying on top of my academic experience in a way that makes me successful?
There's a lot of great things there I want to unpack a little bit, especially we'll come back to a little bit to some of our youngest learners, but you said so much about careers there. I want to come over here and ask Miss Beaty about, so your role is to help really working with workforce development, but to help expose students to great career opportunities. Will you unpack that for us? What exactly is happening in some of our schools right now because of Blueprint? But your piece of that.
Yes, awesome. So right now we currently have career coaches in middle schools, and we have started this year with career coaches, starting with our 8th graders this year, and just kind of looking at what that looks like for them when we talk about thinking about high school. So what things interest you? When you start thinking about scheduling for students, you always kind of get them in there and they're like, I don't know why I need that, or why would I do that? With us now talking about careers and talking about passions and things that they like, we can kind of stray them and gear them to the pathway that looks best for them for high school. So they're having more enriched conversations when they're sitting with their school counselors to talk about that. You know what, I like this, or I don't like that, or this works for me, or I'm really strong in this, or this is a growth area for me. So I think that has started this year with our coaches. They've worked alongside of our counselors to kind of see what that looks like. They've gone into classrooms with counselors and they've married some of their different types of lessons. So there were great lessons where a counselor talked about bullying in school, and our career coaches then talked about what bullying may look like in the workforce and how that mirrors each other. So yes, that is something that we still need to talk about as an adult. So it's that great partnership that we have there with great things that we're already doing in schools, and now we've added in, how does this now look for me as an adult? How does this look for me now when I talk about a job or a career or a business? So the career coaches have done a great job with kind of mirroring some of those lessons and partnering with our teachers, our avid teachers, the school counselors, our different our elective areas. And so I've had counselors go into like the culinary classes and talk with them about what the different culinary avenues could be. It's not just you could be in someone's kitchen. Where other places could you be? Could this take you on a cruise ship? Could this take you different places when you think of this? So it just gives kids a different lens and opens their view to not just here in Anne Arundel County, but what else is out there in those career areas. So the coaches have done a great job with just giving kids information that they probably hadn't thought of before, and looking forward to what that looks like for them in high school. And I'm big on the why, so it's giving them more of a why of why this great information they need every day and what they can use that for. So the career coaches again have been doing a great job with that soft skills and working on resumes and how to answer questions. And you know, we're in a tech world, so kids text, but that writing looks completely different when we start writing a resume and answering questions. So things like that is what they've started to work on this year in middle school.
So this is so exciting, and we're going to come back in just a few minutes to learn more about the great opportunities that our students have in Anne Arundel County as part of the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, specifically with career coaching. Join us in just a moment. Welcome back to Community Connections. So before the break, we talked about what does CCR look like in our elementary schools and with our youngest learners. So we were very fortunate. We were able to get Mrs. Michele Batten down to see us and talk to us through that a little bit. Mrs. Batten is our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and her background is primarily elementary school. So this is the perfect person to ask. When we think about CCR in this new blueprint world, what does that look like if I'm 5 or 6? What does it look like for our youngest learners?
So thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here, Dr. Pugh, and elementary is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So for our youngest learners, we are very focused on making sure they're on track for reading and for mathematics. And so what that means is our students are participating in transitional supplemental instruction, which is an opportunity for them to engage in those foundational literacy skills to make sure that they are reading on or above grade level by the end of 3rd grade. And so very intentional with our progress monitoring to support students in the area of reading instruction. And that is done through small groups with 1 adult, 4 students. That is purposeful 3 to 5 days a week. And so targeted support for 30 minutes a day in those areas that students may need additional time in order to be proficient readers and or proficient mathematicians. And so we are seeing incredible success of our young learners as they meet their milestones through their reading continuum.
So it sounds like it's really differentiated based upon a group of students. So if I'm in a small group, Mrs. Batten might very well be working with Shannon on something different than maybe Kevin or Valicia, right?
Yes, very specific to those students' skills. So differentiated instruction is really what it is all about. And those that are assessed those skills, and so that if any changes needs to be made to the instructional delivery, that can be done in real time and purposeful to the students' needs.
And you talked about that transitional supplemental instruction. So that is actually a part of Blueprint. Blueprint funds those additional supports that we have for our youngest learners right now.
And through that funding, we have just roughly over 50 early intervention teachers that are providing the supplemental instruction side by side with the classroom teacher. So there's that collaborative planning. There's also the sharing of data so that the transfer of student skills can be seen not only in the small group, but also in the classroom setting as well. So those particular teachers have been trained specifically in programs that are evidence-based so that we are assured that we're getting the results we need for our students to be successful readers.
That sounds like such an interesting and in-depth topic, and I know that we're going to be talking about that in a couple of episodes from here. So really looking forward to learning more about those foundational, what it means for foundational reading and math scores. But as our students are becoming proficient in our basic reading and math, what are the opportunities for our students, though, our 3rd graders and 4th graders to learn about careers? What does that look like in elementary school?
So in elementary school, they're actually starting in pre-K.
Okay.
So pre-K through 5th grade, they have opportunities to learn about different careers through their science and social studies curriculum, the field experiences that they're able to take outside of the school building, but also those virtual experiences that they're able to explore through some of our databases that we have online. That through Macavia, and that is giving them an opportunity then just to really explore and dabble into different things. Our wonderful, amazing school counselors also bring some experiences to them and through their lessons. And then in addition to that, we have a new mathematics program, Reveal Mathematics, and with our implementation, this being year 1, there are characters that are in the math program that are very specific to certain occupations. So and through our mathematics curriculum, they're able to explore various roles, what a veterinarian is, I'm trying to think of some other characters, and they grow with the students through the grade levels, so they can see the young Michele and then what her path is as they advance in the math curriculum through each grade level. So exciting opportunity, helps bring that to life for our students at the elementary level.
I love that. And it also sounds like there's a little bit of opportunity for technology, though, to kind of see this growth of that character. I love that. And I know that I think in the youngest grades, students learn about what a policeman is, what a fireman is, what a doctor is, et cetera. So those also, when you mentioned our youngest learners, I remember that from kindergarten, first grade, they're learning some of those helpers in society and how those could be careers.
Absolutely, and they are able then to unpack, what does that mean? What does that mean to be a scientist? And that there are different types of scientists that certainly they can explore and learn more about. So it's fun to see them have that opportunity through our digital platforms.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what we're hearing, though, is we have our youngest learners exposed to this. We heard about 8th grade a little bit earlier. So tell us why we started in 8th grade, and what does that look like? Are we going up and down? How does that look?
Hi, thank you. So yes, we did start in 8th grade, as those students will be transitioning to high school on next year, and we want to get them again started on what that looks like when we talk about careers and pathways and the courses in which they will be taking in high school. So we want to really focus there first, because those students will be transitioning, and we are trying to get kids ready by the end of 10th grade year, and so those students will be our first group of kids that will be that 10th grade cohort. But we're going to do up and down, so we're going to encompass all. So we have started with our 6th and 7th grades this year as well, doing quarters 3 and 4. The career coaches have been into classrooms. They're doing career fairs now. We're having some field trips if we're able to get those in. So there's a big plan there of different things that kids can take opportunities of. The career fairs have been great this year just to see. We already have them, but now this year we've partnered together with our counselors, with our AVID team, with the different personnel that's already in the building, have started those, and we've made them bigger, better, and greater. We've just given more opportunities for kids. We have week-long career fairs at different schools. I've been to one where they were in different classrooms and kids had different sessions they could go to in the morning and different sessions in the afternoon. I met a plumber that talked about, and kids, of course, I don't want to be a plumber, but he talked about how plumbing isn't just the gentleman or the person or the female or the woman or the man, the human that comes in and works on a toilet. He talked about how he started there, and now he does all the plumbing for all of the stadiums, and you should have saw the kids, and they're like, I forgot that they need bathrooms there. And so they're so excited about, he works on the computer now. He's designing what that plumbing looks like. So we're talking about more things in a career than just the surface area when we talk about different careers. So it was really nice to see kids light up when people are talking to them about what those look like. Mead Middle has had one as well, and people were able to come out and kids were able to interact and see and feel and touch and do different things with those career fairs. So I've really enjoyed getting to go out to schools and really seeing how the career fairs look different in each school. Each community brings something different with it as well. So the career fairs have allowed us to bring the community in to the building as well, to work with kids and for them to see what that looks like. So with that, we then transition to high school as well. And so we start thinking more along the lines with kids, okay, now what does that look like for me by the end of 10th grade year? What is it that, am I still in that same passion? Does that still look great for me? Is this still a strong area? Is this a growth area for me? So we continue to talk about that through 9th and 10th grade year with the coaches that will start next year in our high schools. So we will roll those out to help with kids as they transition and think about post-graduation options, whether it's college or whether it's straight into a career or an apprenticeship or what that may look like for them. So yes, we will encompass all, not just one specific area.
So I know you mentioned the plumber, so it's the second time I've heard about the plumber, but there probably are a couple more industry certifications. Can you give us just a couple ideas that could, maybe people aren't thinking of an industry certification that we have available?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dr. Pugh, I could talk with some of my colleagues that are really focused in this area probably for 3 or 4 shows, if you'd like to have us back, about the myriad of programs that exist within ACPS. I'll just highlight 2 for our purposes today. The first is one that is in our comprehensive schools. I think often if you're an Anne Arundel County resident and you think about CTE, you might think about our amazing career technology centers, which are, bar none, some of the best in the state, if not the nation. But each one of our comprehensive schools has amazing program for students in addition. And so I would just highlight our computer and information systems programming. And so if you think about computer networks, right, the building of infrastructure for technology is such an important facet of the world we work in. Everyone works with computers now. And so someone who is able to really hone in on cybersecurity and be an expert in protecting data, protecting our information, sets them up for an almost write your ticket career. And so our program offers students the opportunity for students to get certified in areas like C++, which is fancy computer language, and also to, if they would like as part of their capstone experience, pursue courses at Anne Arundel Community College to deepen that level of understanding and really jumpstart their industry certification. What's great about that program is students can start at a sort of introductory plus level of work while then working on further degree. That will take them even deeper into various fields. And we know with computers, you start here and you move in a different direction and you get a second level of mastery. And at our Centers for Applied Technology, I'd really be remiss if I didn't highlight our interactive media productions program. So lovingly called IMP is a place where our students can learn about video game design and film and really experience that blend of technology and art that comes in the world of making media for us to then consume and be a consumer of. And sort of that life beyond Instagram and other social media platforms. Video game design is just such a cool area that has so many levels of entry, whether it be independent or through a major company. And our students are exposed and get certified in all of the Adobe Creative Suite. And as anyone who has ever come to someone looking for something to be built, our people that are masters of Adobe just have a ticket for themselves into industry. I could talk about other things like our career auto collision repair and all of the various other programs that we offer at our centers. But what's great is our career coaches and our middle schools highlight those programs for students and really make them aware. And our career coaches have been working to help students get their applications in for the various programs that we have. And so that exposure also comes with support. And that's one of the great things that I think Blueprint offers is that hand-in-glove opportunity to see what the world offers and then to see how I can get there as a student. And to get a little helping hand in making sure that application is done by the deadline, March 15th.
March 15th. So we've heard so much today. So we've heard about different things about college and career ready and whether that is, we talked about AP exams, community college, and some great things with elementary and our career coaching. So Mrs. Batten, I want to end with you of thinking about 4 or 5 years in the future. If I'm a graduate of Anne Arundel County Public Schools, how might my experience look different or my post-high school pathway look different because of Blueprint?
Our students are going to be coming out of high school with a plan, a definitive plan as to what is their pathway. As we heard about the careers and our career coaches and that deep dive that students are taking, you know, at really as they transition into 6th grade and having an idea as they enter then into high school, which pathway do I want to go? Like, am I really going to then go to post-high school a college program? Am I going to pursue my associates? Am I going to go to technical education? So I always think about it's college, career, and community ready because ultimately they are going to be an adult that can thrive, you know, in the real world. And they have those real world connections as they move through their educational career.
So this is so exciting, very fascinating, and we will certainly be unpacking these opportunities in Blueprint as we move forward. So thank you very much for joining us. I want to thank my guests today, and we will see you next time on Community Connections.